extremely nervous. Things that you're passionate about, you should share. I started out, this paper I wrote was a homework assignment, but it became something I was passionate about. It's very personal, very close to my heart. I wanted to share that with you. It's called Rubber Steak, a Tongue Twister and an Unexpected Habit. Time pervades all things, but it is not always viewed in the same way. Some say time passes slowly like rivers that carve out canyons. Others say time speeds by, leaving their youth in the dust and their old age present or imminently approaching. Yet, I would ascertain there are certain happenstances, moments in life which have such a profound effect that our minds freeze these moments in time, literally freezing time itself by capturing these moments as memories. Our minds tell us, this is important, this is meaningful, I don't want to forget this. This is what makes something memorable and stops time altogether. Or at least, this is what I believed happened many years ago on an early November day. It's hard to believe 7 years have passed so quickly. I was 12 and about a month old at the genesis of this memory. It took place around my mom's dark square oak table. I say mom's because my parents were divorced. It was early November, and I remember contemplating how the pine trees out of windows don't lose their leaves like most trees do. I snapped back to the dinner as soon as the food was placed. I watched as my sisters took their seats to my left and my mom a seat to my right, with our favorite family meal placed in the middle, rubber steak. Naturally, it was called rubber steak because chewing it took so long. The aroma and taste of the gravy that topped the steak made up for the tedious time spent chewing. This meal really seemed like any other at the time. My mom would always proceed to ask us our high and low points of the day. My sister KK always went first, and she was the oldest at age 15. She and I were quite close and perpetually prone to some mischievous deed or adventure, like putting the lizard on the dog's back to play rodeo. I knew her well and wasn't surprised when she exclaimed her high point was talking to one of her day-to-day crushes. This is typical behavior of a teenage girl, of course. My high point was playing with my dog and him and I swimming in the neighbor's creek. Then, of course, we got down to the baby of the family. Teeter, as my mom would call her. She was unequivocally a mama's girl. If she could eat, breathe, sleep mama, she would do it. Mom always had a special place in her heart for her, which later on she might need the comfort of knowing. Without fail, her high points were often about cuddling with mom, being tickled by mom, or something else mom related. This was a normal dinner compared to many others that took place in my mom's house. We began to clear the table with our full and satisfied bellies till our mom told us to sit back down. This was unprecedented in my mom's house. Rule number one was to always take our plates to the sink when we were finished eating. Thus, we sat back down with puzzled faces and were quite perplexed. You can't leave the table until you complete this tongue twister, my mom said to us. My sisters and I exchanged a big smile because we knew the spontaneous nature of our mom. She was prone to dance on top of tables at Applebee's, tackle us, bust out some crazy dance moves, or burst into song, particularly Paradise by the Dashboard Lights by Meatloaf. It was futile to resist her demands when this mood hit her. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper. I would try to spit out before my tongue would get tied into multiple P's. My sisters and I kept taking turns while my mom and the two kids who weren't trying to say the tongue twister laughed at the sibling who was trying to get through it. Story short, we all succumbed to an uncontrollable fit of giggles that went on for minutes. Have you ever felt that uncontrollable need to laugh that makes your eyes water and your belly hurt, that incapacitates your ability to speak and takes right back over just when you think you are done? Well, this was one of those carefree moments in life, when you feel so untouchable, when you can look back and say, life was easy then. That carefree feeling transcended that moment and froze it in time so that it became a memory. This memory is among many others I hold close to my heart. Approximately 3 weeks after this rubber steak dinner, my mom passed from this world. She passed from this world and left 3 very lost and distraught children. We were dumbstruck, unable to move or think, our minds and hearts too inadequate to process the grotesque blueness of our everything, which was our mom laying on the basement floor. Our mom was a goodnight kisser, the motivator, the picker-upper, the cuddler, the overflowing fount of love when our cups were all but dry. She was a Sorrel, brown-eyed woman that confessed her love to me day in and day out, in the littlest ways that always resounded with such magnitude in my heart. And she unendingly told me, Patty, I can't wait to see the man you'll become. But most of all, she was a warm feeling to the hearts of my sisters and I. That feeling had all been but hollowed out as her soul escaped her corporal being discover some Eden that my sisters and I weren't able to follow into. I'm 19 years old now, and I find myself clinging to the memories I have of my mom. It feels like threads unraveling, and at some point you feel like the threads will eventually snap. Or like when Samwise Gamgee is forlornly clutching the hand of Mr. Frodo, who's moments away from falling into the magma beneath him. Samwise, with the entire world's desperation, says to Mr. Frodo, "Don't you let go, Mr. Frodo. Don't you do it. Don't you let go, Tad. Don't you do it," is what I say to myself. I feel memories fading away like the sun over the horizon. I try to picture certain memories and they evade me, and they seem to dissipate into a place I can't follow. Therefore, I think multiple times a day about her smile with her vibrant red lipstick, her bubbling laugh, her big brown eyes, her huge hair, and most of all, how she would always say, "Bubby, I can't wait to see the man you'll become." In these moments, I can almost visualize her standing in front of me. Thus, these seemingly ordinary or commonplace memories have been encapsulated in my heart. They are all I have left to describe to people I meet what kind of woman she was through her bitterly short life. I put these memories in the deepest depths of my heart. In a way, they have fused with my soul, so that they will never tarnish and time will not ravish them. They are unlike anything terrestrial, because all things eventually break down. Trees die, rocks become sediment, our bones become dirt. The world recycles all physical matter, whether it takes a few years or millions, but memories that are held too tightly last forever. I believe memories, in a way, protect us from the now and definitely the future. We use memories to reflect on certain instances in life so that we can figure out what to do in the now or the future. Memories are reference points from time past that help us hurdle the obstacles of our own inanity. When we are full of despair, grief, and dysphoria, we can reflect on memories that empower us, that breathe life back into our being, and tell us to keep pushing forward, although everything above and beneath the earth seems to be against us. The rubber steak dinner is a memory that breathes life back in my being, when I feel the grief and despair steadily creeping in on me. It brings a carefree feeling I felt that day into the now, and gives me the strength to keep being the man I am today. My mom is gone from this physical world. I've had to wrestle that demon of realizing she will never return. All I have left are the memories of her. But the rubber steak dinner is one memory of many I will tell my kids, so my mom, Cheryl Ann Starziak Morell, will live on through them. They will know the spontaneous nature of my mom, such as the tongue twisters she gave us that sent us into an uncontrollable fit of laughter, which transcended my downcastedness when I felt the most lost without her. I would give anything to have another meal with her, to hear her gentle voice, to pull her so close to me and tell her, "Mom, I love you so much. I miss you more than anything. I wish I could hear your voice and you saying you love me one last time." But alas, the memories I have will have to do until we meet again above the earth, beyond the stars, outside of the universe, and even time itself, at the golden gates of heaven.